Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you're new. This is like the third attempt. I just keep laughing. There was one video I started where I immediately started it off laughing, and somebody in the comments was like, what happened? Nothing ever happens. It's just, I don't know, it just happens, okay? I just start laughing. But anyways, we are finally getting around to grafting. It feels like forever, but this might be the earliest that we've actually ever grafted. It's probably right there. But it is Sunday, April 6th. And we will be grafting on Tuesday. I think we're gonna make 3 cell builders today, and then we'll graft all 3 of them on Tuesday. We were gonna do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and just graft like that, but we figured let's just get it all over in one day. That way they're all at the same time pretty much. So anyways, that's what we're going to do in the next couple of days, but we got to prepare our cell builders for that, so I'm going to kind of talk about how we do that. Now, we've done it the same way for the last couple of years, and we just like it. Now, you can kind of tweak it to how you want to do it. I think we've changed a couple of things for us, but it'll be a little bit of a longer video. My last one was pretty long too. It was like over 20 minutes, but everybody told me in the comments to not worry about the time, so we're not going to worry about it.
An hour later.
Yeah, an hour later. It only took us like 2 hours to get up here. But anyways, so we've got this hive here, and it was probably like a week or 2 ago, we went through it, and it was actually a triple. So it had 3 deeps on it, and we went through, knocked them down to 2 boxes. So we're definitely going to do a tip test on them because, I don't know, they might be swarming, but it's about that time. We're just getting around there. I haven't seen any like swarm cells, but within the next week I'm sure we will. There's a specific date we always get like swarm calls. It's sometime in April, but April 21st is when it really starts getting. So it's a little early, but it's also, we've been seeing a ton of drones, not only just walking on the frames, but out and about flying and everything. And the hives are looking really good. Now there was like a chance of like a snow mix. I think it was like last night or something. So it is a little chilly. I think it's up in the 50s actually today. Or no, it's definitely like 60s now at this point. But so I'm gonna take off this lid and then do a tip test just to make sure they don't have any swarm cells, just because they were so big. Yeah, there's a crap ton of bees in here. But that's what we want to see. So your cell builders need to be some strong, crazy, bustin' hive. And if that means you have to make it, there's a lot of different ways you can make a cell builder. And I am going to say this about grafting. I always tell people it doesn't matter if you can see or you can't see. At least try grafting just once, maybe twice. And also, a lot of the time, it's not actually your graft that was the issue. Most of the time, it actually comes down to your cell builder or your starter finisher, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of people blame themselves for their take, but I've come to find out that it's usually the cell builder. Something happened. Maybe they just don't even want to make queens. Bees can get to the point where they just don't want to make queens and they're not going to make them. So sometimes they'll only make 2 cells, even though you did have, like a 95% take, but they just didn't want to take it. Anyways, so cell builder is really important, and it is, I think, kind of the main thing. Most people will kind of not screw up. I don't want to say that, but like we've done it. And so you can make your cell builder by literally taking from 5 different hives and creating a cell builder, a queenless hive. I should probably be explaining this a little bit more, but I'm thinking on more, somebody's like already grafted. Basically, we're going to make a queenless colony. That way we can graft into it, because they're not going to take our grafts if they already have a queen in there. So we're going to pull the queen out today, but let's just take it one step at a time. So I'm going to start with a tip test. I like to pull it back, especially when we're on a hill like this, because it'll fall forward. And then you just smoke the bottom here. So they've got a few cups, and there's nothing in them. Now, if there were swarm cells, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be probably a little annoyed because that means I have to go through all the frames, but we're already kind of going to do that. But it basically just means that they're ready to build queens, and they already are. So a hive that's actually ready to swarm is a really good cell builder to use. So
that's what Corey looks for.
That is what Corey looks for. This is kind of the way Corey does it, I believe. I think we've probably just changed a couple of things for us, but Corey actually has like I think a really short YouTube video on it, I think. I have no idea, but okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through and basically make a little nuke off of them using their queen. Also, Bob Benny always talks about this in his talks. Swarm cells a lot of times are the best queen cells out there. Some people say it makes your queens more swarmy because they came from a swarm cell, or, you know, whatever. But I truly do think they are the best. And Bob Benny says it, so I just believe it. But yeah. So I'm going to pull out this frame. It should just be pretty much food. Yeah, so this is actually chocked full of pollen. I mean, a ton of pollen here. So that'll be good for right next to the graft frame. They need that food and that pollen and all that to keep those grafts nice and healthy. So that'll probably go next to it. I'm sure there'll be some other good frames in here, but I actually probably could have taken this box off. Oh well. So then this is the long part. If you find her within the first box, you're lucky. But my luck, I'm probably gonna have to go down to the bottom box, and she's probably gonna be on the very last frame I pick out. I feel like it. Maybe not. Maybe she'll be up top this time. We've never actually found the queen in this one. That's partly because I never work it, but I don't know if he's just blind, but anyways.
So let's try to find her on a video then.
Yeah, that's smart.
That feels right.
So it is one of the ways that, it's funny because the way we split, you don't have to find the queen, but the way we graft, you have to find the queen. So I don't know what we're doing, but it is you pretty much do have to find her. Oh my gosh, look at that.
No way.
Found her right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark her just because she's not marked, and she's a little dark. Oh, she's laying an egg. She just dropped an egg right there. Okay, let's mark her. So I think marking the queen can be, some people take it really seriously and it's like this whole thing, but it's really not. And you can actually handle a queen, not rough, but they can take, just grabbing them by the wing, and then I just grab her by the feet. That girl's not very happy with me. And I always put her in my left hand, that way I can mark with my right one. And then I just hold her like this. Now the bees don't like these markers. What are these? Where can you get these? Amazon. They don't like the sound of it, so I usually try to do it back here. And then I always test it out on something before I put it on the queen. Now this year's color is blue, but this was last year's queen. Oh, right? So then you just put a little dot. This bee right here is not, sorry.
Make her mad and fling her at me.
Yeah. There you go. It doesn't have to be a perfect little dot either. And then you can wait for it to dry, but I just stick her in there. So this box over here is the nuke box she's gonna go into. So this is just a plain frame. It doesn't have anything in it. It's just drawn comb. I'm gonna put her on here. Now, there aren't any bees on there right now, but I'm gonna put her on here so she can get to laying right away. On that, it gives her kind of something to do. They don't build up too fast, slows them down a little bit. And then this is just a solid food frame. Let me actually get some bees in there with her. I'm gonna put, she's just in there by herself. I'm gonna put a pretty much emerging brood. So you just kind of look for any bees that are coming out of their cell. You can also scrape the top, and you can look into those cells and see if they're still little larvae or whatever, but I just want to find something that's emerging. Also something that might have a few eggs on it, that way you're getting some nurse bees. I could also pull out of that box that we have. We went and got some brood from a few other hives that we can put in here. I think I'm gonna go with that first frame. There was a good amount of brood on there and looked like there were a few bees emerging, so. Was it this one? Or was it that second one? Oh, shoot. Well, that was fun. Okay, let's go with this. This has got some emerging brood on it and there's quite a few bees. So I'm gonna put that in there. She's still in there, right? Yeah, she's still on that frame. I just dropped this frame, so they're probably super excited now. Good thing I know where the queen is. Okay, let's cycle back a little bit. So now the queen's in here. She's got a frame of brood, a frame of food, and just a plain frame that she can lay on. And then let's add, you could add like a foodie broody, or was that a foodie, I think? I don't know. Basically just half food, half brood. I'm gonna put, let's see. I might do that. I think this frame was a little bit of a mix. I think it had some drones on it. Okay, so this has a little bit of brood, good amount of food too. There's a few drones, but it's okay. So we're gonna put this in there. And then they've got a solid frame of food there. I don't think I can fit another frame in here. No. So it's only a small little 4 frame. But we have this feeder in here. What?
Oh, I see.
We have a feeder in here because these lids don't have bucket, like a hole on it, so we can't feed with a bucket. I wish they did, but it's okay. We'll maybe add that someday. These are, don't ask me where you can get them because it's quite the story. Now I think these Bob was telling us about this when we were in Georgia like 2 weeks ago. They used to be used quite a bit, but it's actually wooden, and I don't know what they used to seal it. I don't remember what it was called, but water can go in it, it's not gonna leak out. We've already tested, I think 3 of these to make sure. So I'm gonna fill this up. It can hold a couple quarts, not a whole lot, so we'll have to stay on top of it to make sure they're getting plenty of food, but that's the other reason that we put that. I mean, this is just solid food. So that's a good bit for them also. I'm thinking they might need a shake of bees, but they also have that brood that is emerging. I don't want them to be too big, but after we graft, we might do a couple rounds in this. You can do about 3 rounds before they start really not wanting to make queens anymore. I don't know if we're doing 3 rounds or not, you know. I think we talked about doing at least 2. So we will graft, and then after they cap them, we'll go ahead and put them into the incubator and then graft again. That way we're not waiting like a week before we can pull those cells out. So the grafting will go by fast, and we'll be able to, basically once we're done grafting from this hive, we'll just take that queen and put it right back in. Because at that point, these bees would have been queenless for maybe a couple of weeks, so most of their brood's going to be emerged. They're really not going to have any eggs. I mean, they shouldn't at that point. So they'll kind of slowly get smaller and smaller. So by that point, taking this small little nuke that we have and putting it in here will help them out, and it'll basically just be like resetting them a little bit, and they'll go back to how it was before. So hopefully that makes sense. And I'm gonna, let's see. Where'd my smoker go? We are gonna feed with a bucket on here. So I'm gonna make sure wherever my grafting frame goes, it's kind of set aside. It's not directly in the middle. That way that syrup doesn't drip onto my graft frames. So let's just see what else is in this top box. So we've got a food frame, This is mostly brood. That's brood. This looks like brood. They had like, I don't know if the lid was marked, but they had a ton. We actually ended up pulling out a good bit of brood too. There's more brood.
Queen.
Yeah, she is a good queen. She might be one to actually graft off of, but now it's kind of too late. But we've got a few other hives that we are definitely going to graft off of, and we'll graft off of Corey's for sure. I think that's probably one of the first rounds we'll do. Okay, this is all food and pollen. So what I'm going to do is put, this is,
That's that pollen frame you pulled out.
okay. I'm just going to put this Okay, this is what's gonna go in place of my graft frame. So it's just mostly drawn out. It'll give them a little something to do here, fix it up, clean it or whatever. So I'll be taking this out in like 2 days once we graft. So wherever this goes is where that graft frame is gonna go. I think I'm just gonna put it, I'm thinking about, so this is all pollen. So I'm gonna put this here, and then those two pollen frames are pretty much the same. I'm gonna put this food frame over here. So they'll have brood next to them and then food next to them. Is that it? How many frames needs to go back in? I guess I pulled, how many did I pull out? 2? I pulled 2 frames out of here to put in here. So I just need 1 more frame because I put this one in. I don't know if I really want to add more brood to them, because I know that bottom box has quite a bit too. Maybe let's just do it. Add brood to them. Because I mean, if it's emerging, I don't know what's in this box. Okay, so this is what we pulled from some other hives. I think we brought home, what, 10 frames? So these came from other colonies, but you can mix frames and bees and brood, and we've never had an issue with it unless you got a queen on there. So you just make sure you don't have a queen in there. But let's just see how packed these are. Oh shoot, yeah, these are like solid frames. Well, we want them to be really, really strong. So we're gonna put it in here anyways. Cell builder really does need to be overflowing. So we're gonna put it in. I'm gonna put this pollen frame over here, and then I'll put this brood next to that graft frame. Probably could have used that frame of brood also for this nuke, but ooh. Hopefully this is all making sense. This is my first time doing this year, so it's always smart to do it on camera, but
Are you gonna mark that frame?
no, you can tell it's brand new. I mean, it's not brand new, but it looks brand new compared to all of these. And I know that I offset it, so I'm just gonna put this in here. If you want to, you can just mark it with like a green dot or whatever. I'm gonna put this in here, maybe. I never miss the amount of propolis we have. Okay. There's still not like an insane amount of bees in there, but hopefully that extra brood will kind of boost them a little bit. So now we're going to close this up. I am gonna give them just a little space to breathe there though. And then these girls should be good to go. I'm just gonna leave it here. Now, some people will say, because we're not taking them anywhere else, it's just gonna stay in this yard. We might move it like over that way or something, but those forager bees are still gonna fly back here. But because we already have emerging brood in there, they'll be fine. There's also a bunch of nurse bees in there, and the queen's in there, so she's gonna continue to lay. But I don't need them to be that big, so they'll be fine. And then I'm gonna put some pollen sub on both of them. So I'm gonna put some just off to the side here because I don't want it to be blocking that bucket hole, or else it's just not, they're not gonna be able to get to it. So I'll just put it off to the side over here, and then that frame's right here. Then I think that's pretty much it. So we'll come back Tuesday and drop our grafts in there. I think we'll probably do 3 bars on, are we doing 3 or 2?
Three.
Yeah, I think we're doing 3. So we'll drop those in and then continue to graft out of them. This already has a little bit of syrup in it, but I did flip it over. That's draining a lot. I think it's fine. So we'll probably come back and fill it. And then on this one over here, I'm not gonna give them a whole, I'm just gonna give them half, just because they're smaller now. Don't wanna give them too much that they can't handle. Especially, we've had problems this year with beetles, but I have a video coming up on that, don't I? Eventually. A new beetle trapping that we've been trying out. So that can just go wherever. Okay, and then I will put the lid on. I might move them just somewhere else and then give them a good bit of syrup, and then we'll come back and feed them again. And then I'll just check on them every now and then. There is a little bit of a gap right here, so I might change out these lids. But we'll come back and just make sure that she's doing good. So she'll only be in there for about 2 weeks, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then she'll just get put right back in here. So anyway, I think that's really it. We're gonna go ahead and do that on 2 other hives, same thing, and graft on Tuesday. So that'll be exciting. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully we don't get a random cold snap. But this is also a good thing sometimes to think about putting them in like an Apame box. We did that one year. We grafted pretty early, so we made our cell builder in a 7-frame Apame box, and that worked really good because it's insulated and it was a good size. So you can do that also, but this is a good double. I think they'll be fine. Is that it? Okay, well I think that's all. So thanks for watching today's video. Follow along more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.